What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Today we're going to talk about an email that I got from an 18-year-old over in the UK. Does he want to use his name? Not want to use his name? Well, it's Connor. His name is Connor. It doesn't matter because there's probably a bunch of Connors over there in the UK. So Connor wants to know why some people feel pressured to use steroids as a quick fix. So I'm assuming because he's a teenager, he's talking about teenagers, why they feel the pressure to use steroids as a quick fix to gain the muscle faster rather than trying to gain muscle naturally on their own. Why do they jump automatically onto they'll train for a month and automatically jump on cycles, stuff like that. Here's the thing. Nowadays, we live in such an instant gratification world that, I mean, even myself, I'll pick up my phone and if the emails are loading more than 5 seconds, I'm like, what the fuck, why is it taking so long? I click on a website, if the thing takes more than 5 seconds to load the page, I'm like, what's wrong with this thing? Why isn't it working? I click it again and it says not responding because I'm fucking with it too much because it's not working as fast as I want it. It's not lightning speed. It's not instant. And that's the way everybody is. And building muscle takes time. There's no doubt about it. I mean, there are some guys, Cutler, Branch Warren, these guys, they build muscle very fast, very quickly. And the problem is people see that, and when they're not building muscle that fast, they automatically go, well, I know what can. And they look for stuff like steroids and different supplements or whatever the case may be to speed that along. And I don't think it's just with like a body image. I don't think it has to do with that at all, because like I said, the internet, if it's not running fast enough, people flip out, they get mad, they get upset, and they automatically start, what the fuck? I'm the same way. But I think that basically nowadays the teenagers, like unlike back when I was a teenager, which was when the dinosaurs roamed the earth and Fred Flintstone was hanging out, I don't think that they're taught to do things a certain way anymore. I don't think they're taught to build a base. I don't think they're taught that, if you go from benching 135 to 145 in 4 or 5 weeks, that's a good gain. That's something to be excited about. What's happening is they want to go from 135 to 300 pounds in 4 weeks. So they're not taught that, because they see someone that did it on steroids, or they see someone who is genetically blessed or whatever the case, and they just want it now and they want it as fast as they possibly can get it. But if they were taught from the very beginning, like I remember walking into the gym and I was probably about 16 or 15 years old. Was I 15? Probably 16, I think. Yes, because I think I was driving at the time. So I walked in a Gold's Gym, and that's where all the bodybuilders were, all the competitive bodybuilders. And I remember looking at them, and they were obviously a hell of a lot bigger than I was. I was walking around at 135 pounds, soaking wet, fairly lean. But there were guys that were walking around 100% natural at 210 pounds, pretty lean. Eddie DePina was one of them. I remember seeing him in the gym and going, how the fuck do I get like that? I don't understand what I had to do. And by talking to these guys and reaching out to these guys, unlike nowadays where, the guys that are in the gym now are taking the drugs, and they started taking them earlier. So they're telling the kids to take them earlier, and then they're selling them to the kids so they make money off them and they keep them as customers. Back then, it wasn't like that. People weren't selling steroids to kids. They weren't telling them to go on shit. What they were doing was telling them flat out, take it as far as you possibly can naturally before you decide to make that jump. But even then, I think honestly where I was in that area, natural bodybuilding had a really big following. It was just as big, if not bigger, than people that were taking drugs. So I had to learn from these people that actually knew what the fuck they were talking about. So, over the years, I watched some of these guys not really gain a whole lot of size, but I'd see in the Flex magazines, like Dorian Yates in that one year when he went from it was 92 to 93, he blew up, and I was like, holy shit, how do I do that? And then that's when they explained to me, well, that's drugs. Drugs does that for you. But, if you're training as a natural athlete, and I was hell-bent on staying natural back then. I was very proud to be a natural bodybuilder, natural everything, natty everything. I'd be like, hi, my name's Jerry Ward, I'm a natural bodybuilder. Like, that's how I introduced myself. I was such a fucking knucklehead. But I was so proud to be natural and so anti-steroid back then that, I understood. I'd say, okay, what's a good gain? What's good gains for a year? So if I competed 135 pounds this year, I want to improve on next year. Should I be at 155 pounds? And they were like, no. If you're 135 pounds now, due to the fact that you're a newbie and you're just starting with your diet and stuff and you're learning how to train and stuff, if you can come back at 140 next year, which would only be 5 pounds of lean mass gain, they're like, that would be incredible. And that's a teenager with newbie gains, 5 pounds of lean muscle tissue. So I thought 5 pounds, great. So as I was watching the scale, if the scale went up a pound, I was like, shit, I'm a fifth of the way there already. Like, I was excited about it. I didn't want to take drugs. I was excited that I was accomplishing my goals and I was getting there. When I was up 2 pounds, it was like, oh shit, I'm almost there. I didn't realize that as you're gaining fat and bulking up in water and shit, you'd have to cut down later. So eventually I did get up to 155 pounds, then had to come back down to 145 to compete. So there was this kind of education going on that I don't think there is anymore nowadays. And I get people now still, I get people that hire me that go, Jerry, I want to gain 35 pounds in the next 12 weeks. I'm like, are you fucking crazy? Like, where did you get the idea that you can do that? And I want to do it natural, not on drugs. I'm like, first of all, even if you took drugs, there's more than likely 35 pounds of lean muscle tissue you're not going to fucking gain. I don't care who you are. Okay, if you had those type of genetics, you would have blown up in the gym already naturally. Second of all, 35 pounds of lean muscle tissue, take 35 pounds of fucking steak and put it on the table, raw steak. That's what you want to gain in fucking 12 weeks. It's not going to happen. You know, so I think explaining to these kids what realistic goals are and how to achieve them and set small goals and achieve those small goals towards the big goal, but the realistic goals really need to be pushed nowadays, which I feel like is really lacking. So fuck it, in this video, let's do realistic goals. We got a little time left, only like 5.5 minutes or 6 minutes. Realistic goals. If you're a newbie, a flat out newbie, and you're in the gym training, I'd say within the first year, you could put on 15 solid pounds if you're training and eating right, consistently. 15 solid pounds, which is a lot of fucking tissue. You will look a lot different 15 pounds heavier natural than you would if you hadn't gained that weight. As you start to progress, your body starts to adapt, that growth starts to slow down. You stop the newbie gains. Within the first 3 years, now you got 2 more years after that, if you put on 20 to 25 pounds of lean muscle tissue, well, I should just say of fairly lean muscle tissue. So if you've gained 25 pounds in the first 2 years or 3 years of training, you're doing pretty goddamn good. I wouldn't shoot for any more than that because you're probably just going to be fat. If you blow past that, then you're a genetic and fucking freak and you should probably be at the Olympia by the time you're 25. But as the years go by, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of training, if you're gaining a pound of muscle tissue a year naturally, a pound of lean muscle tissue, I'm not talking about a pound on the scale, I'm talking about lean muscle tissue, you will look dramatically different year to year and have a completely different look to you from that 1 pound, which sounds like, oh, I got to work all year for that 1 pound. Now, 1 pound on the scale doesn't sound like a lot, but on stage, it's a dramatic difference. So these are realistic goals for naturals and teenagers. And I hope that, I hope you guys take this and share it with all the teenagers out there. Share it with fucking everybody out there. Click fucking share and put it on every goddamn fucking forum everywhere. So people get a clue instead of listening to these fucking retarded knucklehead wingnuts talk about all kinds of shit that they don't fucking understand and load people up with drugs. Biostraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.biostraining.com is a blog. These are legit newbie gains bicep, but it's not a newbie bicep, and we're out.